Two cool bros tooting each other's horns.
We the best!
Scott, what are your thoughts about what legacies are on the line with the Phoenix Suns this postseason?
Yes, well, this is obviously a team very close to my heart, so we had to talk about this one. My main thought is that although there's a lot of expectations for the Suns, I really feel like there's not much downside for them legacy-wise. In that they've already had the best season in franchise history. They're coming right off the title run. You know, I think that there's the upside for them to be the best Suns team of all time, and they're pretty close to that. But I don't really see much downside. It would be bad if they lost to Dallas, yes. But this is a team that's in a great state. I don't think people are going to really judge any of the young guys' legacy if they lose this time. And Chris Paul's the one who could be criticized for his legacy, but he also just had the most efficient shooting game in playoff history. 14 for 14 in a closeout game on the road. So that makes it pretty hard to criticize him. And, I think it's all upside. So obviously the two previous Suns finals teams, they didn't get back for 20 years, 20 plus in the case of after the Barkley team. So if they could make another finals run, then they're clearly the best Suns team of all time. I think you can already say they're better than the 7 seconds or less Suns, who were great for a long time but could never get over that hump to even make the finals. So I really see this as like a great opportunity for the Suns to establish themselves both as the best Suns team ever, but also as the hot young team. You look at a guy like Bridges going crazy. I think that just shows how good this team can be for a long time.
I completely agree with you at that point. I think the biggest thing for a lot of NBA fans is, can Chris Paul actually do it? Because this is by far his best chance to win a ring in his career. He was on the best team in the entire league by more than 8 games, or by 8 games or whatever.
Yeah, by 8
games,
he's
still the alpha of that team. He's not on the downslope where he is, riding some other guy's coattails. He is still the alpha on this team. So this is kind of, I'm looking at this like this might be Chris Paul's last chance to really establish himself as like the GOAT of point guards if he can really take that championship with this squad. Because I think for a lot of NBA fans too, it's like if he doesn't do it this year, he ain't shit. When is he gonna do it? Because he had the best team, he had the most balanced team. He's still the alpha. Like, I think this might solidify his legacy in terms of positive or negative. This might be Chris Paul's last chance because this is his age 37 year. He doesn't have a lot of these chances yet left, especially to be the alpha. And then the other question I had was just as a team, kind of like you were talking about. I thought that maybe something on the line for this team was last year a fluke, because that is something on the mind of a lot of NBA fans. Was last year a fluke? Did they just benefit from all the injuries?
Yeah.
Did they benefit from all the injuries and have a fluke year? Kind of like did they have some sort of, not a perfect analogy here, but like, were they like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks who kind of got there and then disappeared completely, right?
Right.
Or, are they, or the, anyways, there are a bunch of examples of that, right? So are they a fluke team that got there this year, or are they going to continue building off that? So I think if the Suns don't make the finals this year, it will be a huge disappointment for the Suns franchise. And like you said, it kind of leaves up in the air. Well, okay, what iteration or what era of the Suns was the best, right? Still, if they can get back there maybe next season, if they don't get there this year, I think the door is still wide open. The other one I had one more, if you wanted to talk about one more, was Ayton. I think this, and not necessarily his, overall legacy, but like he can solidify this postseason whether or not he is truly a max player. And I would say through the first round with the Pelicans, he looks like he absolutely is. But now we're also getting to the point where they're going to play the Mavs here in the second round, and he is expected to eat. So he better eat. Kind of one of those where, and he's done this throughout his young career and throughout last season's postseason, he's stepped up to the plate. So I think if he continues to do that and show, because I think, dude, his mid-range this year has gotten insane. And
it's a whole new element to his game.
Yeah, I know we are biased Suns fans, but I think he can
Right.
solidify for a lot of NBA fans overall whether or not he truly is worth a max in this postseason.
Yeah, I think for him it's a huge one, of course, because I think he's getting a max already this offseason. I think if the Suns don't offer it, someone will, just because of his age and his versatility. But you're right in the sense that he can really make it a no-brainer if he keeps up his play. And I want to circle back to the Chris Paul thing. I think you had a good point where this can solidify his legacy either positive or negatively. I was kind of saying there's no real downside risk for him, just because there's two camps on Chris Paul already, right? There's those who still think he's one of, if not the best point guards of all time, despite his playoff struggles. And then there are those that will hold it against him and say that he couldn't win on all these teams, that, he always blew it in the playoffs. It's probably the same people who hold it against Barkley, right? Mm-hmm. Those people who kind of view, if you can't win a championship, it's this major knock on you. I'm not in that camp personally because so many things can happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a team sport.
It's a team sport. Crazy things happen. He's had a lot of injuries, so I don't think there'd be many people who, if the Suns lose this year, would suddenly turn on Chris Paul. I think people are pretty firmly in their camps. So I don't think more people would turn on him, but he could get that boost of, okay, if he does win this, then everyone who's in that camp hating on him for not winning, they can't say anything.
Yeah.
That's the only knock in his entire resume, is that he doesn't have a title.
Pretty much.
He's done everything else. So
pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's been an alpha his entire career.
Yeah, he just takes out. I mean, you watch him play; it's just beautiful. It's
insane.
All right, we're gonna get a good shot, and then that last game was just amazing. It's just
amazing.
It's not like this isn't a center who's making 14 layups and dunks.
He's making tough fadeaway
shots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I couldn't believe that there's no big man who's ever done something like that, and it's pretty crazy for a point guard to have the best perfect game.
Yeah, I agree. That's just nuts, dude. Impressive. Just nuts. You would think some guy who benefited, like Shaq, might have had a game like that or something.
Right,
you know?
right.
But yeah, anyways.
Super efficient game. Yeah.
So I think that's where we're staying with the Suns. I do think that there is, a lot on the line with them this year. They still have a lot to prove. I don't like to toot my own horn, but cut that.